Going on, guys? Um, this character here is one I decided to make, and it was inspired by my second oldest. Um, and I had a lot of fun doing this one. Add a little color. It's not the final color, but I added to it. But this video is to address some of the concerns that uh, some of you guys brought up. And as always, these videos are for a small group of friends of mine. Um, but anything I say, if it helps you, I'm happy about that. I'm always willing to help anyone. But anyway, some of you guys mentioned that you wish you had the imagination to make a character, and I said use some reference. There's plenty of reference out there. There's a lot of tutorials that'll get you started. Because we're not professionals. And by no means what we do is considered professional. We're just uh, doing a hobby. And I know it's a little intimidating when you're actually looking at a tutorial from a professional. Uh, but I'm gonna focus on the head. I mean, as you can see, she looks female, and this character still needs a lot of work, um, a whole lot of work. I kept it low poly. Um, that's what I do. You can tell by how um, flaccid it looks. All the polygons, you can actually see them. So I'm gonna take it into ZBrush later and finish her off. But the whole purpose is about the head. Is I'm gonna show you what a character can look like just from your imagination and not use a reference. Because if I use reference, the character would turn out a lot better. This one had some reference, um, and it turned out okay. She still needs work. But this one I'm just doing straight off my imagination, and I went through and already done this character, so I'm just gonna scroll through my history. And as you can see, I go by the basics. Try to get that head, the helmet, the helmet size head, and of course pull out the neck. I'm not gonna say everything I'm doing here, but I'm just gonna show you that without reference, it can be done, but it's not gonna look that good. So right now I'm just making sure that I make the size I can for the neck. I'm trying to show that I do understand some anatomy, but like I said, this character is going to need some work. So I'm just came up with something in my head, and now I'm going through the whole motions of creating the neck and trying to remember certain shapes. And I think I'm doing fairly well. I mean, just coming up with something, but this actual model took me about 2 hours. Don't normally take me that long when I'm using reference. I think the quickest was an hour for me. I mean, but I was making that last character that you seen. Showing my boys how I do things. Right here, I'm looking for that Spider-Man shape, and then trying to make it look like a cyborg. This is how I piece my things together, even when I'm using reference. But I'm trying to keep a general shape, and as you can see, the left cheek is just straight, so there's no cheeks there. It's what I want it to look like at the moment. And as you can see, I'm having a problem with the skull. Trying to, this is like I said, coming off my imagination, and I'm already screwing this thing up. Normally, you would already have the skull the way you kind of want it. You're still going to make tweaks and changes. And of course, I'm working on the nose. I'm trying to get the nose right, and and I can already see, that I'm looking at what I'm doing that I didn't even do the nose right because it kind of curves in, and it's not curving in right. And like I said, this is my imagination here, and and this is what happens when you don't use reference. And there's plenty of references out there, and don't be afraid to use reference. And some of y'all mentioned, oh, you don't want to copy off someone. I'm sorry to tell you guys, most of the artwork is copied off of someone. You just don't copy it exactly. You incorporate uh, uh, how you want this character to look. That it's supposed to be used for reference. Placement of cheekbones, placement of the eyes, lips. You know, because I guarantee you, if you take a character from a video game, especially the Asian ones, you're gonna see that it resembles. And I'm lowballing this. 20 different characters or 20 different people. That's just my opinion. It's not facts. It's just my opinion. But I've pulled Resident Evil characters, references from them, and they resembled a lot of other characters, from like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. So at this moment, I want to put eyeballs in. I'm not worrying about uh, eyebrows and eyelashes. Uh, the way I do my characters, even if I had reference, I want it to look as femaleish or maleish as possible without adding those details yet, but I at least add the eyes. I'm trying to get that Deadpool or Dragon Ball Z Jiren look. That's what my oldest call it. He said it looks like Jiren with a nose. So, so I go with that. After that, I start on more details on the face. And just to let you know, I try to keep it as low poly as possible. I think I'm somewhere around 26, 27,000. And for ZBrush, that's not a whole lot. Because ZBrush goes in the hundred thousands into the millions, and then your computer starts choking. Now, for those who's using Blender, you could do the same thing. So, I'm also using masks so I can detail certain areas. Earlier, you probably seen that would look really rough, but I, straightened out the creases up there in the eyebrows, well, the eyelids. And like I said, straight imagination, and you can tell that I'm making so many adjustments, a whole lot of adjustments, because it's never going to look right. And even if you had reference, take your time, because your character's going to look ugly. It's going to be ugly until you start refining and adding the details, and getting the general shape the way it's supposed to be. And this thing is not even close. And as you see, I'm doing the lips. I'm using the clay tubes just to add a little geometry there, smooth it out, and I'm gonna start drawing the lips. And you're gonna notice that the lips are gonna look weird. And this is what happens when you just use your imagination. So if people telling you go by your imagination, I'm gonna tell you that's. I mean, you can do it, but I think you should just get as much reference as possible, so you can at least know the general shapes. As you can see, I also noticed that the chin looks weird, and I haven't even got to the ears or anything else yet. And during this whole thing, I forgot about the ears for a little bit. And as you can see, I'm making more adjustments to the general skull. So up and finally, here's the ears. I'm halfway through this sculpt and I haven't even touched the ears. This is me by imagination. I would have already at least had the general shape of the ears. And you're gonna see that those ears are gonna look terrible. The way I'm pulling them out, it's actually terrible. Sometimes I would usually extract that piece out, make the ear, and then do a boolean and put it back on. That's the easiest way I can do it. But I'm having a lot of issues here with the ear, and I'm no reference at all. So I'm forgetting parts, making it look just weird. And as you can see, the skull is also being adjusted. So it's not always easy going by your imagination to get the character done. I mean, there's people out there that can do it. I'm just not that person. And don't be afraid to use reference. And some of you are just learning this skill, and I understand it's a little frustrating, you know, but don't let it frustrate you. Take your time, learn the tools too, because a lot of you just learn in Blender because it's free. Um, and I'm starting to get the inside of the ear. It's still wrong, and I'm making the cheeks and flattening certain areas that was too round. Trying to get that kind of egg shape, and it's still wrong. I mean, it looks almost there, but it's just not right. So, I'm struggling here just by going with my imagination. So I'm trying to let you guys know, especially the ones that's beginning, we're not professionals. We're not doing this for a profession. This is a hobby, guys. So enjoy the hobby. And when y'all start going for being professional at this, I mean, you're doing freelance work, video games, stuff like that. Then I got it. But learn the tools of the programs because I know these tools, and I'm trying to translate into Blender right now. As you can see, I got the cheeks. I still think they're wrong. I think it's more the forehead. I think it's more the forehead, but I got the general shapes, and I'm satisfied enough that I feel I can. Oh, excuse me. I can make this character a lot better. I'm pretty sure I can. But it all started with a sphere, a little imagination, and I think it looked female-ish. I wish I had reference, side views, quarter views, front views, top views. You can even draw your own reference. Image planes. You're still gonna have to get some reference. I'm giving some quick little eyebrows, because I want to see if it looks kind of femalish. I'm gonna finish off the eyes. Um, I don't even have eye references, so I'm trying, but I'm thinking I'm making these eyes terrible. Uh, I know what y'all gonna say. Well, you've been doing this for years. That's still no excuse for not having reference. Yes, I'm gonna let you know at the end of this sculpt, I'm not satisfied with this character at all. Eyes are too big. She looks dreamy at this moment. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm gonna add some hair to see if I can, make it look better. But now I'm on the wrong track because this is what happens. You start adding stuff that's not really not gonna help the characters, in a positive way for me. I mean, the hair looks fine, but right at this moment, I can't take my eyes off of her eyes because I know it looks wrong. And I'm gonna, add some quick hair to it, And just let you know, hair's not that hard to do. If you see what I just did, just making a ponytail. It's a quick ponytail. But at this moment, I'm satisfied because I know that once I get some reference, I can fix it, add some color, and I don't even have reference to make skin color, so that's just horrible. And I'm being fast about all this. The eyes are completely wrong, but once I get some reference, I'm gonna make it look nice. I mean, she looks female-ish. I don't see too many problems with, I see a lot of problems, but overall, with my imagination, it came out okay. Now, try to remember the way this looks. We're about to go back to the first character, but it's all low poly, 36,000, and I did that to make sure I can maintain some control because low poly is easier to sculpt than high poly. Because once you go high poly, I'm talking about hundred thousands, million, it's going to be hard to keep control of that sculpt because every little tiny movement could make it really bumpy. So if I really need to make changes to her right now with reference, I can, and it wouldn't be that hard. I mean, even the nose looks too long, and so I mean, I'm not down in my own work, but I know it needs work. See, if you look at this character, the nose is not that long, her eyes are fine. I mean, she needs work. She needs work, but as far as I'm concerned, the general shapes is where I want it to be. I think it looks prettier. That's just my opinion. But it's low poly. I'm gonna send this to ZBrush, and I'm gonna put all the detail, the small lines here and there, detail the shield. I'm gonna fix this area. You I still have to adjust the general pose because there's a lot of areas that I can't fix in ZBrush, or I can, but it'll take a lot of work. But overall, uh, use reference, especially us new guys. We're not doing this as a professional um, business or game design. So, that's all I got, guys.